All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er draft video. Make sure you check out Pig and a Pickle. They've got two locations. They're open in Marin County 7 days a week in Corte Madera from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And check them out in Emeryville. They're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. Well, story today in 49er land is the 49ers have agreed to an extension to bring Kerry Hyder back. Ian Rappaport had the details. They re-signed the veteran Kerry Hyder. He's 31. He's a defensive lineman who came into the NFL undrafted back in 2014, and he's bounced around through a good portion of his career. He's in his second stint with the Niners. He really had a great run during his first run with them, which was 2020 to 2021. He had 8.5 sacks and 49 total tackles as a regular starter. Last season, Hyder slotted in a reserve role where he, filled in along the Niner defensive line where they needed him. And he had 1 sack and 1 fumble recovery. If you look at this move on the surface, you might say, just kind of a middle of the road move. But when you look a little bit closer at this player and what his impact is in the locker room, this is a great signing by the 49ers. Why? Because Kerry Hyder is a leader. He's a leader on the team. He's a leader on the defensive line room. There's going to be some turnover on that defensive line room. There already has been, right? And so you need a little continuity, and he provides that. So your starters up front are Nick Bosa today, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, and then kind of a question mark. I think it would probably be Drake Jackson. Some people think it'll be Cleveland Farrell. And Austin Bryant has been brought in as well and all those guys are up for that final starting spot. There's also a chance the 49ers may trade up in the draft or draft somebody where they're at. Their first pick is 99. That could fill that defensive end spot. But, when I think of Kerry Hyder re-signing, I think of, one, how well he's played with the 49ers. This guy's motor is second to none. I mean, that's really what separates Kerry Hyder from anybody else? The motor. The motor is what separates Kerry Hyder from everybody else. When I think of high revving motors, I picture Kerry Hyder. The guy keeps coming. He just keeps coming. You knock him on the ground, he gets up. You knock him on the ground and bury him into the dirt, he pushes you off of him and he gets up. And he gets up with the intent not just to go back to the huddle. He gets up with the intent to go make the play. This guy's motor is revving at all times. That is a great example for others. And you look at this defensive line going forward. Hargrave's new, Farrell's new. You've got Austin Bryant new. They're going to draft, I would say, at least 2 new players. So you might have 5 new guys in the room. And you don't know if they're going to trade Kinlaw or not. Hargrave obviously is coming over. That, he's going to make a huge impact, you would think. But it's always nice to have some continuity, and it's always nice to have a guy who can play every position on the line, and it's always nice to have a guy who has an unstoppable high-revving motor. And if you can put all those traits into one guy, better yet. There's a reason Chris Kocurek loves Kerry Hyder. He's had him in a couple different spots because Hyder is a very, very valuable guy. If Nick Bosa goes down in the middle of the game, he can play defensive end. If Eric Armstead or Javon Hargrave go down in a game this year, he can play defensive tackle. He's better against the run inside than you would think a guy who's undersized would be. He's got more of a knack as a pass rusher than you would think a guy in his dimensions would be. I mean, Kerry Hyder, in a lot of ways, is incredibly valuable player. He's 6'2", 275 pounds. He's got enough functional strength to play inside. He's got enough edge bend and athleticism to play outside. But really, it comes down to another conversation that I had earlier this year in the Niner locker room with Drake Jackson. And I said, Drake, tell me the guy on this team that has helped you the most this year. And he's like, oh, without a doubt, it's Kerry Hyder. And I'm like, well, what has he helped you with? Your get offs, your technique, your stunting, and all the things that go into being a great defensive lineman. And he's like, yeah, he helps me with all that stuff. I can go to him and ask him any question, and I know he's going to give me a great answer. He also showed me how hard, what hard work really looks like. He showed me what a high revving motor really looks like. He's provided me with this awesome template, a great example as to how I need to play if I want to have success in the NFL. And then, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then when I said that, he's like, I'm not even done there, Krug. He's like, it's also off the field. When I've got questions about life, questions about, different things that are going on in pro football in and around us, and I don't really understand. Kerry's a trusted veteran that I can go to and talk to and pick his brain. And, it's not just football, it's life in the NFL. It's just life, period. Dealing with, two things at once, trying to be a professional football player and everything that goes into that, and then, trying to live a successful life off the field. So, you know what? You don't really think of that when you're looking down on the binoculars from the upper deck and you're looking at number 92 and you're saying, man, the Niners got Kerry Hyder out there. That's nice. And then we don't really get into, hey, why is he really so valuable? And you forget there are guys behind the helmet. And, some guys, every team needs those veterans that set the tone, that show the young players how to watch film, what to look for, how to manage your media obligations, how to manage your family obligations, and balance it all out with football, how to be fan-friendly, but not too fan-friendly, how to hear the criticism, but not let it drown out, the positive things that you're hearing about your game or yourself. So, so much of doing whatever job you're doing, whether you're a radio host, a YouTuber, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, or whether you're an NFL player, is a lot of it's about just like, how do you deal with the mental side of things? And how do you operate day to day? Do you have a working game plan that's really going to help you? And that's the advantage of having Kerry Hyder, is you have a guy who can play any spot on the line. He can his motor is second to none. And he's a great example and leader for your young defensive linemen, and a big brother, somebody that they can go up to and be like, hey man, I'm having this problem and I need some help. And Kerry Hyder's there. I'll say this: when I need an interview and I want perspective on a tough 49er loss, or, a situation where the D-line didn't get any pressure and I'm looking for answers, I can go to Kerry Hyder, and he's got thoughtful answers, and he's got an idea of what's going on, and he's got solutions. And I'm sure Chris, Kosherik loves having Hyder there. It's a volatile position. There's a lot of volatile guys. You need some continuity. He provides that. You need some versatility. He provides that. You need to set an expectation. Guys, this is the level that we play at. He does that for you. And then he does the little things like helping a Drake Jackson navigate his rookie year. There's going to be 2 or 3 draft choices on that defensive line. Drake's not going to be the youngest guy in that room. There are going to be other young guys in that room. And that's what you need Eric Armstead for. That's what you need Kerry Hyder for. That's what you need T.Y. McGill for. You need those glue pieces that bring everybody along, that show you. You think you're working hard? You ain't working hard. I'm working hard. You think your motor revs high? It doesn't rev high. Watch me. I'm going to get buried in the dirt. The play's going to be 25 yards away from me, and I'm going to get up, and with grass hanging out of my face mask, I'm going to sprint across the field to try to make a play, because that's the standard that I play at. And when young guys see that, guess what? It's like you either play to Kerry's standard or you get the fuck out of the room. And it's that simple. And that's what it's about at its core. So you look at that move and you say, didn't get a lot of headlines, probably not going to get a lot of attention. Doesn't matter. Kerry Hyder, incredibly valuable player for the 49ers. And getting him back, one, it makes that defensive line room deeper, but at the same time, it gives them a tone-setting player who's versatile and a leader. And that's really it. And also, they got great depth there now. I mean, let's just count it out. Bosa, Armstead, Hargrave, Farrell. There's 4. Hyder, Kinlaw, Kevin Givens, Drake Jackson. That's 8. Kalia Davis is 9. T.Y. McGill's 10. Austin Bryant's 11. Alex Barrett's 12. The Niners like a lot of depth on their D-line, so they'll add 2 or 3 more guys. But this is why this is always a Niners strength. They're going to roll into camp with 15 defensive linemen, and they all can play. So, to me, this was a great signing. This was a tone-setting player. This is a leader on the team, and a great move by John Lynch. All right, hope you enjoyed our 49er video. Check out The Krug Show on YouTube for all your Niner coverage. And thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being a proud sponsor of The Krug Show on YouTube.